Buenos dias, clase. I always start before it starts recording. Sorry about that. I cut myself off. Okay, we are on la página 208. Actually, that's wrong. We're at the very bottom of 209. 209, very bottom, 5.3. We're talking about actions in progress, the present progressive. So in order to describe an action that's taking place at the moment, Spanish uses a form of estar, to be, which we talked about in chapter 3 when we were doing Spanish 1, and endo, which is just like ing, going, walking. They use ndo, and that's a present participle, and the combination is called present progressive. If you look on the next page, 210, it has forms of the verb estar, but you can find the full conjugated out forms with the yo, and that tells you what it is, on page 147, 147 of this textbook. So you use estar plus ndo, but you also, if it's an AR verb that you're using, for example, I am playing, you're going to put, instead of jugar, first you're going to say yo estoy, I am, estoy, yo estoy, you can put the yo or not, estoy, and then you have this jugar. You're going to take off that AR, and you're just going to add ando, ando for AR verbs, ando for IR verbs. And for ER and IR verbs, excuse me, you're going to take off the ER or the IR and add IENDO. So for I am playing, it's going to be yo estoy jugando. Yo estoy jugando. I am playing. I'm walking. Yo estoy caminando. Remember caminen. Caminar, to walk. Estoy caminando. I'm smoking. It's right there in your book. I didn't do it. Estoy fumando. Okay, so you can see the forms of estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. You can cross out the vosotros estáis, the second before the bottom, because we're not going to learn that. But if you're saying you are listening, tú estás escuchando. They are writing. Están escribiendo. Ellos están escribiendo. We are eating. Estamos comiendo. So those are some of the forms. Let's look at what they say, the examples. It says, what is the doctor doing? ¿Qué está haciendo el médico? ¿Qué está haciendo el médico? He is examining a patient. Está examinando a un paciente. All right, Guillermo, what are you doing? Guillermo, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo? What are you doing, Guillermo? Estoy escribiendo una composición. I'm writing a composition. The present participle, ando or iendo, is formed from the infinitive. Jugar changes to jugando. Hablar changes to hablando. Yo estoy hablando. I'm talking right now. Estoy hablando. Comer, estoy comiendo. I'm eating. Vivir changes to viviendo. Vivir means to live. I'm living somewhere, okay? When a present participle is irregular, there are a couple of irregular ones. It will be noted as follows. Dormir, to sleep. If you're I'm sleeping, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. The O changes to U. Estoy durmiendo. Instead of dormiendo, it's durmiendo. Leer is just a matter of, there's a Y in there, leyendo, you can see it right there, to reading. He is reading, está leyendo. So for example, is the judge sleeping now? Está durmiendo el juez ahora? No, he's speaking with a lawyer. Maybe they can't tell. No, está hablando con un abogado. Estela, what are you reading? Estela, ¿qué estás leyendo? What are you reading? ¿Qué estás leyendo? I'm reading a novel. Estoy leyendo una novela. All right, so exercise 5 you're going to do, and exercises 6. I'm just going to let you do them. I'm not going to give you examples. I think you can figure them out. Now we're moving on to 5.4, expressing obligation and duty. Well, before we do that, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm not quite done. I'm not quite done with this. I want to move on to page, la página. Where is it? Where is it? That's not it. I don't know where it is. I thought they had present progressive somewhere. Well, you can look back on your careers and things, and it talks about a story. Some of those are saying, like the cashier is counting money. La cajera está contando el dinero. You can look back and see where they use estar. But I'm going to continue on because there were other ones. There were, sorry, go to 211. I'm messed up. And I don't want to have to film this 500 times like I've had to a few of them. Okay, 5.4, expressing obligation and duty. Tener que, to have to do something. Deber is ought to or should do something. Necesitar is you need to do something. Ik is like one should or one must or one ought to do something. And es necesario, it's necessary to do something. First of all, you can find the forms of the verb tener on page 48 in your book, the conjugated forms of tener. And tener que, when you put that K, Q-U-E on it, then that is you have to do something. Tengo que sacar la basura. I have to take out the trash. Tengo que sacar la basura. I'm messing up. All right. Deber is conjugated like this. You can pause this and write these down. I ought to or I should, you ought to, you should, he or she ought to or should, you ought to or should, we ought to or should, they or y'all ought to or should. Okay, that's how you do deber. And then also now necesitar, showing you how to conjugate that. Write it down. Pause this and write it down. There you go for that part. I need to, or I need to, you need to. Yes, that's right. He or she needs to. You need to. I hope it's all getting on there. There you go. I think it all got on there. Hopefully. Hopefully you saw all that, but otherwise it's just a regular AR verb. Take off the AR and add the appropriate endings. Okay, as far as IK, that doesn't change. It just stays the one. You put IK and then the infinitive. IK sacar la basura. It means, basically it means you should take out the trash. Hay que basar la, I keep saying basar. Sacar la basura. Take out the trash. Or hay que limpiar la casa. You should. I know deber is for you should, but IK is translated the same way because people aren't going to say one must take out the trash. People aren't just going to talk that way. Okay, so and then es necesario. It's important to do this thing. It's necesario. It's necessary to do this, and you just add the infinitive there. Look at some examples. What time do we have to be at the theater? ¿A qué hora tenemos que estar en el teatro? At 9. We have to, or one must, get there a little early to pick up the tickets. Hay que llegar un poco antes para recoger los boletos. Okay, the next thing says, pero necesito estudiar más. But I need to study more. Está bien, pero debemos salir pronto. That's fine, but we should leave soon. All right, you're going to do exercise 7. You're going to use the forms of tener, que. So you're going to put tengo que or tienes que or whatever, whoever the subject is. Luis is a he, which is él. So you're going to put tiene que trabajar hasta las 12. So Luis has to work until 12 o'clock. Okay, so that's exercise 7. And then you're going to do exercise 8, and you're going to put in the forms of deber, which I showed you. The first one, well, let's do number 2 because the first one is third person singular. Let's do first person singular. Yo debo limpiar la cocina. I should clean the kitchen. All right? All right, so there's those exercises. And then I want you to choose... well, we'll do the listening part. I'm going to let you know now. We have one more part to finish up this chapter, and you are going to choose 3 out of all the listening exercises in chapter 5 at the end of the workbook. You're going to choose 3, whichever 3 you want to do. You need to listen to them, and you need to write down which one you chose. Make sure you put the page number and the letter, so that I know what I'm grading. And so I'm going to let you choose that, but some of them you haven't finished this last part, and so we'll have to finish this last part, and I'm not sure if we're going to do that, to get to that this week or not. I might have to wait till Monday. So okay, that's all. Hopefully you understand your assignment. And hasta luego, nos vemos, que les vaya muy bien. There is no written part in the workbook. I'm not assigning any written part in the workbook. There are going to be 3 listening things that you get to choose. The audio parts that you get to choose on your own. And like I said, we haven't finished this one last segment, so it might be difficult to do 1 or 2 of those at the end. All right, adios, nos vemos, que les vaya muy bien. I'll see you later.